Hello, EK Nation. Welcome to a new edition of our Face2Face. It's episode number 66. My name is Rob Howden. That is David Cole. We're getting set to talk about really over the next couple of weeks, David, sitting down with a bunch of the promoters of a lot of regional programs, road racing, sprint racing, you name it. Brittany Lobaugh from the Texas Sprint Racing Series joining us today. It feels like the season's going right now. We did the Winter Series, almost wrapped up with Challenge of the Americas in the West, Florida Winter Tour in the East. SCUSA Winter Series done. USPKS has its first run now in the books. You were there this past weekend, but now we're starting to get into the meat of the season. We'll see the regional series start popping up here as well.
Yeah, you couldn't tell it by the weather outside because there's snow on the ground.
Yeah,
that was kind of a shock to go from nearly 90-degree weather this past weekend in Florida all the way to what I think it was 19 degrees this morning.
Wow!
When I woke up, so yeah, it's extremes, and so it doesn't feel like race season, but Friday, Saturday, and Sunday it certainly did, being down in Florida at the United States Pro Kart Series Southern Grand Prix from Orlando.
There it is. And not surprisingly, the regional series we're going to see start kind of popping up are going to come, of course, from the southern states, Texas being one of them. We talked to Justin Stefani about the Race Road Tax Trophy Series West. Of course, that's Arizona, so they're going to get underway this month as well. But the state of Texas, David, through the 20 years you've been with us, and since I started publishing the first magazine back in 1998, man, Texas has always been a hot spot for karting, and a couple of new tracks coming up. One of the big speed sports last couple of years. The Texas Sprint Racing Series is going to add another track to its program this year. So it's always been, even though it's a massive state, it's always been a real hotbed for karting.
It certainly has been. Reading the pages of Shifter Kart Illustrated, there was the Texas Tornado.
Yeah.
All these drivers that were coming from the area, Kyle Martin and many others, John Kinehart, many of those. But as the decades go on and the years go on, there continues to be an influx of not just regular club drivers, but great regional, great national drivers. A lot of talent, a big talent pool. Again, big state, you figure that. You look at football, a lot of football players come from the state of Texas. There's a lot of racers that come from the state of Texas as well.
A lot of heritage too, right? There's a lot of second generation, third generation people that have been in there. Some really good shops, of course, down in the area as well. You get tracks like Denton, Texas, that have been around forever, that have been kicking out talent for the last number of decades. Again, the ebbs and flows of regional programs. This is the number one program right now in a big way, the Texas Sprint Racing Series. Let's bring Brittany Lobaugh on right now. So we jump in and get a chance to talk a little bit about this program that continues to grow. Brittany, thanks for taking some time out this evening to talk to us.
Nope.
Just I know. I'm like, am I breaking up?
You're good. Nope. It just locked up for a second.
So let's dive into this. I'll do a quick run through the schedule, and you can kind of pick apart here some stuff you want to talk about. The season's starting actually pretty soon. Just over a week's time at Speed Sports Racing Park. You guys made a move after SCUSA moved their event from NOLA. So Speed Sports Racing Park starting things off on March 24, 25, 26. Then to Denton, Texas, North Texas Kartway I just mentioned. That's at the end of May 26th to 28th. Out to Amarillo Kart Complex, a newly renamed track with a bunch of stuff going on. We'll be able to talk about that. A track I love going out to drive on and announce that. That's June 30th to July the 2nd. Rimrock Raceway, a brand new circuit for the series. That's August 4th, 5th, and 6th. Then you'll cap things off again in the middle of September, the 15th to the 17th at Speed Sports Racing Park again for 5 weekends. It seems like it's going to be a good lineup. I know we talked a little bit about pre-entries already over the 135 mark, moving its way to 140, 150. So it's going to be some good numbers. Overall, when you look at the schedule, is there some stuff that makes you excited about the new season?
I mean, I'm definitely excited to bring some new tracks, and all the updates at Amarillo is going to be awesome. Yeah. Moving, we're a little sad we didn't have NOLA on the schedule this year, and we hope to bring it back. It just didn't work the way it needed to this year. But we've had we've got some new classes on the schedule this year, and that was pretty exciting. It was kind of a grassroots movement from the drivers themselves. They really were begging me to ask, to bring these classes back. Wow, and so it's really exciting to see, we've got, a lot of shifters interested. I know our Amarillo race will probably be the largest for them. just because there's interest from like Colorado and Arizona and that side as well for there. But there's a lot of shifter drivers that have been reaching out, talking about kind of trickling through all year. So I think that'll be a fun class to hopefully bring back. And the same with the 206 heavy. They like decided they didn't want to be a master's class. They wanted to let the kids run and have kind of all ages and have that access to to a bigger range of drivers that maybe fell outside the normal like senior weight.
That's really that's interesting. Let's lay this down, because I didn't talk about this before, Brittany. The fact that this series, the Texas Sprint Racing Series, it's a Supercarts USA series, but it's also an IKF series, an International Kart Federation. So you've got a lot of these SCUSA classes, right? You've got micro and mini Swift. You run all the KA 100 classes, junior, senior, and master, and then you're adding open shifter, as you had said. But it also has that IKF lean, where it's that 206 cadet, junior, and senior. You said now the guys kind of got together and said they wanted to make the masters into heavy. Was that kind of the way things shook down?
Well, there was a movement, with a lot of people kind of reaching out saying like, can we bring back like a master/heavy class? And with the K100 master class sort of having that changeover this year as well, we kind of toyed with the idea, but the KA master, the way that's outlined, you still have to be over 21. And we do have some, younger 17, year old drivers that really want to be included. So we kind of set a little poll and asked people that were interested to, register. So we had actual contact information and numbers. And we reached out to the masters drivers, the ones that selected masters over heavy. Now we had way more select heavy, but the masters says, yeah, I'm good with driving with the kids. And so, to make a good class, we've already got, at least 8 already registered for that class this year, which, the first time offering it is not bad. Still a week and a half out. So
let's talk about K100 Masters a little bit, because obviously there was a big movement last year during the end of the season that kind of culminated at the Super Nationals. Thankfully, got a chance to race myself. But, and one of the reasons was one of the pockets that was so big was the Texas Sprint Racing Series. You guys had all these guys running K100 Masters. There was a good group up at Badger Kart Club as well. But man, you guys had this fantastic group. How did that kind of grow and feed on itself? Because there was a lot of guys that you guys were pulling out, over 20 entries at some of the events.
Yeah, that's what I was just looking at. We already have over 19 entered for this upcoming race. So I expect it to be a big field again. And this part of it stemmed from, we had a decent 206 masters group, and a lot of them started leaning over to the KA masters instead, when they kind of started decreasing numbers. A lot of the people in 206, we do have a group that transitions from 206 to KA when they want like something a little bit more, but they're not ready to, to go into much more than that. So, so our KA numbers went crazy the last 2 years, especially the masters group. And that's why it was so interesting that we had the 206 kind of heavy wanted to be brought back, because a lot of them had switched over. But this new group is a whole separate group of racers that came from the clubs that really just wanted to participate.
And David, don't we talk about this all the time? Isn't that what you guys are supposed to be? You guys are supposed to be the place where the club racers get to go drive. So if there's lots of 206 heavy guys on the club level, why not bring them all to run regionally so the different clubs can battle each other, right, Dave?
And that's the kind of the question I have. I don't know how much you keep track of it, but how many new racers did you have from 2021 to 2022? Or maybe from last year going into this first event that you've kind of followed through? Do you have like maybe a rough percentage, like maybe 10% around there? But because again, like Rob said, they were making that transition from club. And like you said, some of these guys are making transitions from one class to another just because of their growth as a driver as well too. So that's very cool to see.
I mean, I think I had at least 30 new people that had never raced with me before reach out when we started talking about adding shifter and 206 heavy.
Wow. All right.
That's a huge amount. Now, I don't know that all of them will race every race or the season, or, sometimes they just don't make it at all. But that's a good chunk of interest that helped us to get sponsors for the class and people interested. And then there were a few 206 senior drivers that may have been further back that were just excited to maybe move back into a heavy master that had stuck with us when the other class sort of fell away, but we're super excited to bring it back.
Let's talk a little bit about the open shifter category as well. I didn't get a chance to dive right into it, but what engines are you allowing? Is it stock Honda, SSE, KZ? Is it essentially rock shifter, anything?
All of it.
Yeah.
So we're going to work through a little bit on the first race if we need to adjust weights and things like that. But I know because of how different each track is, some will work better for each engine than others. So we're going to kind of go out there and do the legwork during practice this first race and decide if we need to segment each engine to a slightly different weight. But we just want those racers to go out there and have fun. Sometimes there's just so much pressure on the national level that, and the club race is fun, but you're not getting your people from all over. So at the regional level, you get a little more than what hopefully you're getting at the club level, but a little less stress than at the national level.
Adding the 206 heavy and open shifter, that extends the day a little. What have you kind of reviewed how adding these two categories are going to affect the regular daily schedule of the race weekends?
We actually this year are going back more to the format we used to have. Now that some of the tracks have lights and schedule being where it is, we're going back to the 3 heat format that we had previously. So the heats will be slightly shorter. Like last year, most of the tracks had 2 practice sessions on Saturday, and then you had 1 heat, and then on Sunday you had the other heat and the final. So this year you're going to just have a real quick warm up. You're going to have qualifying in 2 heats on Saturday. So Saturday might be a teeny bit later, but not substantially. And then Sunday, again, because we're offering more heats, each one will be slightly shorter. So even with adding the extra main, the time doesn't change significantly.
Okay.
So the schedule for the first event actually is posted online already.
Okay, there you go.
On our website, in case some people haven't seen it yet. Subject to change if something, if like one class has significantly less entries than we anticipate or something like that, as that does happen occasionally.
We pause our face-to-face broadcast for this quick commercial break. Stay tuned for more here on the EKN Radio Network. The 2023 SuperKarts USA season is underway and making history as it heads into its 4th decade. A successful and record-setting SCUSA Winter Series began the season in Florida, welcoming over 250 entries in January. Join them for the series finale on February 10th to 12th at the AMR Homestead Miami Motorplex presented by MG Tires. That weekend will serve as the final spring training weekend before the 14th edition of the SuperKarts USA Pro Tour begins with the Winter Nationals, making its debut at the Orlando Kart Center on March 31st to April 2nd in Florida. The winter momentum will carry into a return to the Utah Motorsports Campus in Erta, Utah for the Spring Nationals, which are scheduled for June 9 to 11. The SCUSA Pro Tour wraps up with a 9th straight visit to the Newcastle Motorsports Park in Newcastle, Indiana for the 14th edition of the Summer Nationals, moved up this year to the July 28 to 30 weekend. You can get all the information you need to compete at any SuperKarts USA event or to learn more about the regional programs as well, all at superkartsusa.com. Made in the USA. It's not just a statement, it's the mission at Factory Karts of America. Led by 4-time Supernats champion Billy Musgrave, Factory Karts manufactures their frames completely in-house at the Riverside, California facility. built and designed from the ground up specifically for the American karting market, Factory Karts brings new innovations and solutions that are long overdue. Factory Karts bring together the highest quality materials to produce a high-performance, long-lasting kart that has been designed and perfected from 3 years of development, with a focus for a big push across North America in 2023. No other karting manufacturer stands behind its product like Factory Karts does, providing a 2-year warranty on all their frames. Do you remember when American made meant innovative, original, stronger, faster, and just plain better? Well, American made is back. Contact Factory Karts today to join the American made movement. Learn more by visiting factorykarts.com or email Billy anytime at info@factorykarts.com. CRG is one of the most iconic brands in karting, and we're primed and ready for the 2022 season with new material and a never-ending focus on winning. CRG Nordam is the North American distributor for all CRG products. Based outside of Houston, Texas, CRG Nordam supports CRG dealers across the continent, reaching every corner of North America. The CRG KT5 is our new chassis for tag and shifter racing, and it's been designed specifically for the US market. The KT5 features 30mm construction with a 32mm front loop to increase front grip. CRG's new VEN 13 brake system is cutting-edge technology with a master cylinder that allows for pressure regulation within the system. Drivers can customize brake pressure to their own requirements to improve feel and to avoid brake lockup. The kart is finished with new KG 507, 508 bodywork that has refined aerodynamics and reduced weight. For cadet drivers, the 2022 CRG Black Mirror is already logging positive results to start the new season. This chassis will be making big waves in 2022. Longtime CRG drivers will be happy to know that the CRG Road Rebel, the standard in quality and performance, is still available. With 4-cycle racing enjoying consistent growth in North America, CRG's FS4 chassis is the ideal choice for racers in Briggs & Stratton competition. From pure racing to karting entertainment, many tracks, both indoor and outdoor, have made the switch to the CRG Centurion rental kart line. 5 different models for both gas-powered or electric engines can fit any track's needs for a new rental kart fleet. CRG Nordam has a full inventory of rental karts available for new and existing facilities. For more information on the CRG product line, head to www.kartcrg.com, and to inquire about a North American dealer near you, please email us at info@kartcrg-nordam.com. Welcome back to Face2Face on the EKN Radio Network. What kind of excitement? What kind of excitement do you have right now for the Rimrock Raceway event? Obviously, people know about Speed Sport. They know about Denton. Many of them have probably gone out to Amarillo, which is a great track. But having Scott Cherry, the Cherry family, they've been involved in the series for a long time. To be able to get out to Rimrock, I think that's really cool. To get another new track, a new Texas track onto the TSRS program.
Yeah, I mean, we're excited. They're excited to have us, and they've been, Scott's been sitting getting the track ready, and we'll. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll be going out there, to kind of do some surveying and stuff again as we get a little bit closer. But they have a fun facility. There's like a bar at the track and all kinds of cool stuff. So I think, obviously we'll limit our drivers from drinking during the day and all that. But and I know there's some details to work out. I think Scott was talking about a band coming and playing on one of the nights, and really making a party out of it. We and it's exciting to have tracks that are excited to host us, right? So having a fun new facility that is maybe not a national circuit, but a fun circuit for people to drive. I was looking at the track map, and there's 11 corners to this. So I'll be posting that on the website here shortly. Now that I've caught up with some of my crazy from this season setup.
I like the new challenge. I just like the fact it's a new challenge for everybody. I think that's great.
Yeah, so there's a lot of tight, twisty bits, and I think our racers are going to find it very challenging and really fun, and again, something new to learn. It's fun partnering with new tracks that some of our racers haven't been to. I think it's good for the state. It's good for the it's good to get people to visit new places that maybe they wouldn't have gone before.
If you're tuned into the live broadcast right now, you can make a comment. If you have any questions for Brittany at all, just throw them in the comments below. We'll bring those into the show. One of the things we talked about, Brittany, before we came on was your kid kart program. And I know it's a class that you guys really like having on board. You like getting the young kids there at the very start of the program, getting them a chance to come out and run at this level of competition. There are other places around the country where kid kart dads and moms really want their kid to be able to run regionally, but there's no opportunity to do that. You guys have done that, but you're not. You told us that you're not getting a ton of interest right now. Where are you right now on the kid kart category, and what is your motivation really to make this thing happen?
Yeah, I mean, well, we've offered kid karts for pretty much the entire time we've run, so I do try to keep. They have a special place in my heart, right? Like, because they're just the sweetest little things out there. And so this year we only have I think we have 2 entries for this first race, and typically we have a pretty big following. So I know a lot of our previous kid karters have moved up to 206 cadet or to micro. So I'm hoping that the new kid karters, because I'm still seeing a good following at the clubs, but I'm hoping they don't get scared off and they come join us this year. I'd hate to have to cancel the class for a race or the season or whatever, as we like to be able to show them and introduce them into something a little more, and help train them and guide them into like what the next step for them might be.
Yeah, you don't know what that next step is until you do it. And like you said, if they're moving on to the micro category, into the 206 cadets, they've already been at your races before, and they're in their own, kid kart category, but they learn the culture, the people. I just think the transition is so much easier if they got a chance to run with you guys throughout the year.
Right. I mean, at the club level, they still a lot of times have their parents on the track with them, like, signaling and doing all kinds of, interesting things out there, trying to protect them. And we basically go, okay, mom and dad, it's time to take a step back. And now we're, it's like moving from, T-ball to coach pitch or something, right? Yeah. Like we're going to help guide you to the next step. And, and you guys you're gonna let them start to learn how to do this on their own. It's baby steps.
Yeah, including the procedures too, because again, clubs, we've talked about this before, they have their own way of doing things, and if they come as a kid karter, they're able to learn exactly what goes on at a regional level, and then so the next year they come back, they're not shocked and awe or being told exactly what to do or not to do.
Well, right. Like just even learning how to fill out a tech form, right? Yeah. Like, I mean, maybe their engines aren't sealed, but learning how to do the next step, right? Because, I mean, I've seen it that you have people that come from, the regional level or just clubs and try to go to a national and they get DQ'd for something as like writing the wrong seal number. Like they didn't even change it. They looked at like the chassis, like the manufacturing seal as opposed to the provided one or something seemingly silly, but you have to learn those things somewhere.
Yep.
So anything else going on with the program that we may be able to kind of get out here in this edition of Face2Face? I know we talked about potentially you guys have got annual spectator passes this year. How's that work?
What we're offering is some people that, if you're going to be with us all year, we're going to print you a pretty card if you pay for that. And then you can wear it around your neck versus having a wristband and having to check in every time, just to kind of make it easier for our customers. There's always just so many things to like do every race and having to do the waivers and check in and, so we're trying to kind of simplify it and, also, make it easier. We're not like, oh, hey, where's your wristband every, you know,
Right.
and even
The
some
hard
people,
card. I have a hard
yeah,
card.
exactly.
Back to yes.
Yeah, so just trying to offer some new things to, make it easier, one on my registration staff, and then also on customers, to make it so that, the first event you've got maybe a few things to handle, but maybe the next time it's like one or two things less every.
Yeah, and it's great for the team owners or just parents to be able to get that out of the way, done, and then every race, again, you have 5 races, so the remaining 4, they don't have to worry about that stuff. They can maybe sleep in 15 more minutes, or
right? I mean, yes, you still have your driver check-in, but hopefully it makes everything move faster, because you don't have the parents that are like, wait, I'm supposed to sign somewhere. Wait, I have to take a picture on my phone. I mean, we help them through all of that, but just knowing there's one less thing, or like you said with teams, if you have the same mechanics that are coming all year, only having to go up one time to get everything set up, or even all of this is electronic. So you complete your e-waiver, the team manager sends one person up to get the whole thing's, hard cards. And it's not something that you have to do. Yeah. I mean, just trying to wrangle the entire team of mechanics up at one time to sign their waivers is an effort in itself, because I know how hard everybody works. I know how time consuming all this is.
We got one question right now, so I'll put it up here. Jeff Shaw is asking, is there a pit layout with names so we know where we park yet?
So I'm working on that, but just so typically I won't put anything out until we get to the track. We always like to make sure that we don't show up and there's a random trailer parked somewhere that's not supposed to be, that literally is on flat tires and pretty much drilled into the ground. That's happened a lot. It does happen. Typically everybody cleans up really nicely for us, and it doesn't happen. But you just don't know. So with our pit maps, even though they're all set up and I've got my nice spreadsheet and stuff, I will not post that online until we're on scene and just can double check there's no major, random storm rolls through and a tree's down on half my paddock. I don't know.
It could happen.
Exactly. So,
especially at South Bend, right?
Right. There are certain tracks, or like Jacksonville, Florida, like you obviously, we're not racing at those tracks, but we've all been to a track where we've shown up and like, oh, good, they're fixing a light post, and look, they've taken 7 pit spots for this. So we'll post that online on Thursday morning before everybody starts pitting. But we have track staff. We have staff on hand to get you parked when you arrive. So really, it's only those after hours people that if you've put in for a pit space through registration, which is how we have that set up this year, then please know you are on there. I audit it like every other day to make sure I haven't missed anybody, or somebody that was on there didn't add something and accidentally remove themselves. I follow up and make sure that I don't get oversold, or if you requested to be by somebody and I see that they've requested different like rows, that I follow up to see like, hey, do you want to switch so I can get you in the right place? It all is happening.
We got a couple of nice things here. Derek Wargo says we are super excited for the TSRS series. That's a good one. And the boys are coming in from Florida as well, it sounds like. I'm just happy you opened up heavy for 206. See you the next weekend. Jam Racing making a trip west. Yeah, I like that. That's good stuff.
Yeah. So like I said, that my 206, heavies class, they're excited and pumped, and I'm excited to bring them back.
For sure. No doubt. Here's one more too from Jeff Shaw. Are the kid carts standing start or rolling start? That's a good question.
Ooh, that is a good question. So we have done both in the past, and really we gauge by the experience of our kid carters. So if they are a more then we do try to do the rolling start. But if we find we've got a lot of green kid carters, we'll start the year with a standing start and then try to get them to a rolling start by the end of the year. We don't want to have to do a million restarts. So we work with what we've got there on the track. But the goal would be that by the end of the year, hopefully we've worked up to a rolling start to get them pumped for, again, if they're moving up the next year, and that's what they'll get.
Yeah, I can tell by last weekend, even micro drivers still have a hard time with rolling starts.
You're like, oh, you're new. It's nothing mean. It's just that if the clubs don't, work through that throughout the year either, and that's all they've been racing, they just don't know better.
Especially the pace coming up to the green. Not so much the whole lap they take before the green, but the pace coming up to the green. Two different things.
Yeah, no doubt. The crawling around for a lap drives me crazy. Oh my God. Brittany, let's wrap them things up. One of the categories I used to always love watching when I was down there is the KA100 senior class. How's that looking for your? Is it going to kind of be the headline pro show?
Yes, we already have 25, I think it looks like.
Nice.
And I know we usually get a big heavy trickle this, since registration will go up at the end of this weekend. By the end of the weekend, we've usually got a strong trickle between, Friday and Sunday. So
indeed, let's say that. So midnight Sunday night is when pre-registration, I believe, is done. Everything after that,
midnight
of course,
Central Time, Texas time.
Texas time. That's right.
Daylight. Remember, Central Daylight Time.
Yeah.
Now that we're in daylight.
Yes.
Because again, we all lost sleep on Sunday.
That was bad.
Oh
that was bad.
I don't know why we all struggle so bad with that. It's
bad.
like that 1 hour, it's like the whole world needs 5 naps
Felt
and goes
that
to
way.
sleep early.
I do like more sunlight right now, though. That's good.
It's true. That's true.
Absolutely.
All right, folks, let's wrap this things up right about the right time, closing on the half-hour mark. March the 24th, 25th, 26th, Speed Sports Racing Park. Brittany, you guys are getting ready to go another brand new season, just over a week away. In fact, what are we? We're Tuesday right now. You'll probably head to the track on Wednesday next week. There it is.
Absolutely,
so you're a week away. Are you? Any last bits to bring out here? Just pretty excited to get the season started.
No, I think we're pretty excited. A lot of it's very similar to, to past years, besides I think most of what we've talked about. We will have Kart Chaser back this year, broadcasting the race, which is always awesome. And, we got to get you guys down for a race.
We would love that. That'd be great. That'd be awesome to come down for a bit soon.
We're doing all the fun stuff. So
we pause our face-to-face broadcast for this quick commercial break. Stay tuned for more here on the EKN Radio Network. If you're a karter in the Lone Star State, make the jump from the club level and race against the best in the country at the Texas Sprint Racing Series. The premier regional kart racing series in Texas will be a 5-race program in 2023, featuring 4 different tracks located all over the state. This year's Texas Sprint Racing Series kicks off the season at the popular Speed Sports Racing Park in New Caney, Texas on March 24th to 26th. Racing Under the Lights returns in 2023, with the North Texas Kartways in Denton welcoming the series for night racing over the Memorial Day weekend on May 26 to 28. The third round of the TSRS travels to the Panhandle and the newly renamed Amarillo Kart Complex on the June 30, July 2nd weekend. A track new to the series hosts round 4, as Rimrock Raceway in Odessa is set to make history on August 4, 5, and 6. The series championships will be decided on the September 15th to 17th weekend, as the 5th and final round brings competitors back to the challenging Speed Sports facility in Houston. Details on the rules and class structure for the official SuperKarts USA and International Kart Federation Series can be found at TexasSprintSeries.com. It's a multi-time world champion, and it's a SuperKarts USA Super Nationals winner. It is Sodi Kart. And starting in 2023, the Sodi brand has found a new home here in the U.S. Sodi Racing USA is the new exclusive importer of the Sodi Kart chassis line under the karting distribution banner, led by industry veteran Terry Germanovich. The French manufacturer SodiCart is a leader within the karting industry, offering a wide range of products and services. The Sodi Racing chassis line offers product in classes from Mini to KZ, all based on years of development and championship seasons around the world. Sodi Racing USA has already begun establishing its dealer network, working with the Karting Collective on the West Coast and recently signing PK Sport to serve as a dealer and the official race team on the East Coast. Visit Sodi-Racing-USA.com to learn more about the Sodi Kart chassis line or call 954-634-5111 to become part of the Sodi Racing USA network today. Sodi Kart, the world leader in the karting industry. It all started in 1994 when former successful kart driver Albino Parolin decided to move his passion for karting from the track to his small workshop. That's when Parolin was born. Fast forward 20 years and Parolin's passion for the sport led to the company rejoining international competitions as a factory team in WSK and CIK FIA races, with the aim of enhancing the research and development process, immediately achieving notable results around Europe, North America, and Asia, becoming the CIK FIA Asia Pacific KZ champion in the same year. Parolin USA is North America's source for Parolin products, and we run a factory team at all of the major Superkarts USA and Rock Cup USA events. The Parolin chassis lineup for 2021 includes the Invader Shifter, the Le Mans Tag single-speed chassis for junior and senior classes, and the 28mm mini kart for the cadet classes. Parolin has been winning races all over the world, and it's on top of the podium in the USA as well, with drivers like Kai Sorensen, Mateus Orjuela, and Alessandro De Tullio. Get on the chassis that's winning. Drive a Parolin. For more information, head to ParolinUSA.com. Welcome back to Face2Face on the EKN Radio Network. What about sponsors? I know you guys always have a great group of sponsors. Do you have a list of maybe you want to spout off here while you got a chance?
Yes, let me.
Like, where's my list?
I know, that's what I thought. I had my whole pile here, and it's okay because I've got 47 screens going.
Well, you have a look at that. I'll just say the cool thing is there's such a great industry down in Texas, continues to grow, great shops, and I know even a lot of the parents step up and support you guys too, which I think is awesome.
Yes. Okay. So I did find my list. So we've got Auction East Texas is our title sponsor again this year. So they're super awesome. And then we've got Avinco Tires. The track themselves, Rimrock, is going to sponsor the kid kart class. So that's one of our fun things we want to do. We've got Royal Electric, Alan Rudolph Racing Academy, Wiltshire Engines. Exertech, we've got Kart Racing Solutions, we've got Victor Racing is our new open shifter sponsor, Kept Clothing, Seville Electric, Slipstream Racing, Maxwell Paper Products, and then Performance Stop is giving away a lot of raffle prizes again this year. We've got EK Chains, we've got RLV, and then we've got Stewart Racing Engines, MPH Racing. We've got our Fast Lap sponsor for those for our cups. Similar to this, we give a new cup around every race. So there's 5 different types of cups to earn the whole set. That's Houston Freightliner and High Five Performance. And then we've also, and then we have Ken Johnson from Studio 52 coming out to do our photos again.
Fantastic photographer. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I got most of that. I think I got everybody.
That sounds good.
I think so.
Hey, listen. Hey, I think Chuck Frank says it perfectly.
Yes.
Let's go racing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Do this. Well, that's awesome, Brittany. Again, I know that you guys have so much support. That's why I wanted to give you a chance to kind of roll out the names because so many people get behind this series to make this happen. Obviously, we said four fantastic racetracks: Speed Sports, North Texas Kartway, Denton, Amarillo Kart Complex, which is going to see a big, what do we call it? Upgrade, overhaul. Kyle Yachinski's got a lot of stuff going on there, which is so cool for that racetrack.
Yes, he's already got a lot accomplished from what I've heard, chatting with him already. But by the time we get there, most of the improvements should be done. So
that's crazy.
I'm super excited to be at a little bit more set up track and have kind of my wish list of improvements completed.
And if you've never driven that track, folks, if you're in Texas, that's a fun track to drive. I've had a chance to race on it one time. That's a really cool track. It's the downsized version of Istanbul, the Turkish Grand Prix Formula One track. So it's a lot of fun to drive, a lot of cutbacks, a lot of fast corners. It's a really, really fun track to get on. So the bottom line is you guys get started in a week and a half. Best of luck to you, Brittany. Hope you have a huge field. Almost 140 already. Let's go. Let's get 170.
Yeah, I mean, I know back to back with Scusa, we had we had over 200 last year. So I'm hoping that even though we moved away from them a little bit for this event, that we still have pretty large numbers. So which at now it seems like we're getting there.
Good stuff. David, anything else, bud?
No, let's go racing. Yeah,
that's it.
I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see what happens next weekend.
Brittany, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Anytime.
There you go, folks. Brittany Lobaugh getting ready to go. She'll be taking off in just about a week's time, heading to Speed Sports Racing Park in Houston, Texas. Obviously, David, a fantastic track. You're finally get to see it this year when you go down for the USPKS event. We got to get down for one of these Texas Sprint Racing Series events as well. Maybe do a little coverage. Maybe do a little racing at the same time. They have a heavy class you can run in now.
Well, I mean, Rimrock, if they're going to have a concert.
Rimrock can be fun.
I mean, every race should have a Saturday night concert. Come
I agree.
On now. I agree. Or even Friday night, because Friday, who cares, right?
That's it. Like we said, folks, regional racing getting back underway right now. The winter series are already wrapping up right now or have wrapped up already. Major national series starting, of course, USPKS and SCUSA in March. But those regional series, as the weather starts getting warmer coming up from the southern states, you're going to see them start to fire up. Of course, as we know, Texas Sprint Racing Series, the first to get rolling here in just about a week and a half's time at Speed Sports Racing Park. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. We do appreciate it. Brittany Lobaugh, thank you for being part of it. We look forward to seeing how the season gets underway for you guys down in Texas. On behalf of David Cole, my name is Rob Howden. Bye for now.